Welcome to our balance class. Today is week 3. Okay, week 3 of balance class. So I know that we have a couple of new folks joining us today. If you are new to our balance class, this is our low impact and low intensity exercise class directed for those who are frequent fallers. So this class will be working on lots of weight shifting type activities, lots of direction change, level changes, those kind of exercises. And so hopefully this class will help target those who are having falls and give you some tools that you can work on at home to help improve your balance. Now, the session today is recorded, and same with all the other classes in the series, they are recorded, and the recordings will be uploaded to the YouTube channel about a week after each class. So our previous classes have already been put onto our YouTube channel. And if you would like to have a look at those classes and you want to work on some of those exercises, you are welcome to. The YouTube channel, you can search for Parkinson Society BC, all in one word, no spaces. Or if you're not sure where to find that, you can always drop us an email and we can send you the exact link for the balance classes. Okay, so we are using the Zoom webinar platform for this class, which basically means that you can see me, but I can't see you due to the number of people in the class. And it does mean that all your microphones are muted completely. But if you did want to ask any questions, you are welcome to type in the chat box, or equally, you are welcome to use the raise hand function, in which case then your microphone will become unmuted and you're welcome to ask the question via voice instead. Okay, so I see a comment here to send link to the class. Yeah, no problem. I will do that at the end of our class today. If I forget, please remind me, but I will find the link on YouTube and I will send it to you on the chat box, so that way you can save the link if you like. If you lose the link, you're welcome to email me afterwards as well, and I can always send that to you. Actually, I will type in our email address in the chat box here, info@parkinsons.bc.ca, and you can get the link from us through that email, or I will type in chat box at the very end as well. Okay, for today's class, you're going to need a cushion of some kind. It doesn't really matter about the size, but the smaller, the easier probably. So if you have some kind of small cushion, that would be wonderful. And we are going to be using 2 tissue boxes today. They don't necessarily have to be a tissue box. You can see that one is a tissue box and the other one is a yoga block, but it doesn't really matter. You just need something that's 2 of the same size that we're going to use for some of our stepping practice today. Okay, let's get started. I think most people have joined in from the waiting room. Hopefully you can see and hear me okay. If you have any questions in the class, please feel free to type in the chat box, or you can use the raise hand function. Okay, I'm going to move back. So our balance class, we are always starting in our seated position, and then we move to a standing position, and then we come back down to a seated position at the end of the class. Okay, so we're going to sit forward in our chair, and we're going to start with some marching on the spot. Keep going with those marching. I'm actually going to adjust my camera. Keep marching. I'm just going to adjust my camera down slightly. Sitting forward in the chair, marching on the spot, nice long spine, swinging those arms. Make sure the arms are swinging back behind you as much as they're swinging forward. So we don't want to just have this, but we want the arms going back behind you as well. Now, if there's anything we're doing in the class today that feels a little too fast for you, that's absolutely fine. You are welcome to slow it down. And if the class is going too easy for you, you are welcome to have a look at some of our other exercise series that are a little higher in intensity and a little higher impact as well. But this balance class is our low intensity, low impact class targeting those who are frequent fallers. Okay, keep the marching going. we're going to float those arms up into a T shape, keep the legs going. And now we're going to bring the knee up to meet our opposite hand like this. And as we're doing this movement, we want to make sure we're not getting lower in our seats. We want to sit up nice and tall, shoulders away from the ears. Hike those knees up to meet your hands. Nicely done. Try to get the knees up as high as we can so we're not like this. Want to get the knees right up. Bring those arms back to a T shape every time. Nicely done. Let's do 10 more. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now we're going to bring the knee up to meet our opposite forearm. So same movement, but we're now using our forearm instead of our hand, which means that we're twisting. We're rotating a little more than before in order for that knee to reach the forearm. So remember, we're not like this. We want to sit up tall, bring the knee up to meet the forearm. Keep your chest open, shoulders away from the ears. Nicely done. Chest up, make sure you're sitting forward in your chair. Let's go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep the arms up. Now we're going to go knee to opposite elbow like this. So we're twisting even further now to either side in order to get the knee and the elbow to line up. But of course, if you can't quite touch your elbow to the knee, that's okay. Just rotate as far over as you can, trying to get both the knee and the elbow as in line as possible. Sitting up tall, so we're not like this. You want to sit up nice and here. Let's go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and resting those arms down. We're going to tap the heels forward and push the arms forward at the same time. So you're tapping your heel down in front of you, and you're spreading your fingers, pushing your arms away from you, imagining that there's something in front of you that you're actually trying to push. So you want to extend the elbows fully and spread those fingers nice and wide. Nicely done. Try to sit up nice and tall, no slouching back in the chair. Want to sit up tall over sit bones, crown of head reaching for the ceiling. Nicely done. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And this time we're tapping the toes out to the side and you're opening the arms out to the side. So notice that my elbows stay lifted. I'm not bringing them down here. I'm keeping them nice and lifted. And I'm just extending my arms out to the side, spreading those fingers nice and wide, filling up as much room as you can. And your foot's tapping out to the side. But you're staying balanced over your sit bones. We're not leaning back. We're sitting nice and tall. Reaching those arms, reaching the toe away. And we're going to go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, we're going to sit nice and tall in the chair again. Put your feet flat onto the floor. Float those arms up into a T shape. And we're going to lean down to the side into a side stretch here. Noticing that when I come down to the side, I'm not just doing this with the arms, right? So I'm not just lifting the arms, but I'm keeping my arms in this T shape, and I'm dipping down with my torso. So my arms are still in the T shape. I'm not changing the orientation of them, but I'm using my trunk to bring myself over such that your shoulder on the side that you're dipping down to is going towards that hip. Keep the chest forward. Don't let yourself swing Swing down to the floor like this. You want to keep your chest forward, reach the arms away from each other, keep the opposite sit bone down, so don't lift up. Sit down onto the chair, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, coming back up. Drop the arms for a second, bring them back up into the T shape. Same thing as before, the body is tipping down to the side, so your arms are technically still in that T shape. We're not just swinging the arms, we're keeping the arms where they are, and we're using our body to tip down to the side, the shoulder going towards the hip. Reach the arms away, feet flat, make sure the hips are down onto the chair. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, coming back up, and drop the arms. Take your hand, grab hold of the opposite knee. The other hand is going to reach around to grab the chair. Sit up nice and tall, and you're going to twist yourself around on the spot. So imagine your spine like a corkscrew. You're twisting on the spot, but you're not getting any shorter. You're keeping your height exactly the same as you're twisting around on the spot. Trying to look at the back wall there. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, coming back to the middle. Same to the other side. Your hand reaching for the opposite knee, and then the other hand wrapping around the chair, holding onto the back of the chair, and then you're going to twist yourself around. So remember, your spine is like a corkscrew. It's turning on the spot. We're not slouching down or moving out of the center position. You're twisting on the spot. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, coming back to the front. Okay, stay where you are. I'm going to turn my chair sideways so you can see me. So now we're going to move our bodies back in the chair slightly, and you're going to lean into the back of the chair. Okay, so you're leaning back into the chair, and I want you to slouch and slide yourself down a little bit. This is the only time you get to slouch. You're slouching your chair, you're leaning into the back, and you're going to bring those hands up behind the head or behind the neck, and you're going to open those elbows out to the sides. You're opening that chest. And then here, you're going to lean up and over the back of the chair to feel a stretch in your upper back and also in your chest. Just be careful here that you're not going to hit anything behind you and that you're not tipping your chair too far back. So I don't want you to fall, but I do want you to lean up and over the back of the chair here, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and coming back up. Drop those arms for a second. We're going to try that again. Bring the hands up behind the head. Make sure the elbows are open, so don't let the elbows point forward. You want the elbows pointing to the side. And then you're going to lean up and over the back of the chair to feel that stretch in the upper back and also across the chest. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and coming back up. We're going to sit nice and tall again. Use your tummy muscles to come back up. Make sure you're forward in the chair. So if you're this far back, I want you to shuffle your bottom forward in the chair again, feet flat onto the floor. We're going to practice our slow Situ Stands. So if you've been here for the last couple of sessions, you'll remember this one. So we're going to practice our Situ Stand nice and slow. And what we're going to do here is placing your feet flat onto the floor, your bottom perched on the edge of the chair. I want you to lean your chest forward, almost like someone grabbed your shirt and they're pulled you forward. And you want to bring your chest so far forward that your weight gets shifted right over your feet. So your bottom lifts off the chair. And then from here, push the floor away from you. Keep your weight balanced over your feet to stand. And then we're going to do the same thing in reverse to sit down nice and slow. Stick your bottom back, bring your chest forward. Keep your weight balanced over your feet. And then you slowly lower down. So what we want to avoid here is I want to avoid this. Using momentum to stand or keeping your weight so far back that you need to now pull on something to then stand up. And I also want to avoid this kind of standing where you're pushing the back of your legs into the chair to help you stand. So we don't want to be using tools or momentum to help us stand. We want to use the strength in our legs and our body. So let me show you that again. You're bringing your chest forward. You're bringing your weight over your feet. So transfer your weight over your base of support, over your feet, and then you push straight up. Push the floor away from you. Tuck that bottom in. Keep your weight between your feet to stand. And then when we sit down, exactly the same, nice and slow. Stick your bottom back, chest forward. Keep your weight over your feet at all times, and then you sit back down. So keep going. You want to go nice and slow and controlled. Now, keep going. Now, if you are someone who's been doing the class for a while and this is pretty easy, I'm going to challenge you to now stick one leg slightly more forward so that we're biasing the back leg. And you do exactly the same thing. You're bringing your chest forward over your legs, and then you're using that back leg to push up. So you're putting most of the weight onto the back leg. So then the front leg is on the floor, but technically you're not stomping on it. You're just having that foot resting on the floor. Then the same thing on the way down. Stick your bottom back. Keep your weight on that back leg to then sit back down. So see if you can do maybe 3 on one leg and then switch to the other leg, and then keep switching after every 3 that you do. But exactly the same, if you're biasing that one leg, you're bringing your weight forward over that leg, and then you're pushing the floor away from you to stand. Remember, the front leg is very light on the floor. And then on the way down, exactly the same. Stick your bottom back. Keep your weight on that supporting leg to then have a sit down. Okay, so 3 on one side, 3 on the other side. Keep going. In your own time, nobody should be using momentum. You shouldn't be pushing the back of your legs into the chair to help you stand. I want you to really do this nice and slow and controlled, because I want you to feel what it's like to have your weight put over your base of support. You're bringing your entire weight, your center of gravity, over your base of support in order to stand up. And this is a really important part of our balance practice, because to stay balanced, regardless of what movement you're doing or what activity you're doing, in order to stay balanced, you need to keep your center of gravity over your base of support as you're moving. So of course, doing something stationary like this is going to be a little easier than if you were moving around the room and you're trying to turn, twist, or whatever it is that you're doing, and you're trying to stay balanced. But this is the beginning of it. You're keeping your weight, you're practicing shifting your weight, getting comfortable with having your weight over your base of support, nice and slow, nice and controlled. And then as you get better at keeping your weight over your feet as you're moving in different directions, you'll be able to add speed to it and more advanced skills like twisting, turning, vertical change in height, those kind of things. But you want to just practice keeping your weight over your feet in this position, nice and slow, nice and controlled. I think I may have done more than 3 on that side. I got carried away with talking. But hopefully you're doing 3 on each leg if you're doing the leg bias version. If not, that's okay. You don't have to do this version with one leg forward. You're welcome to keep your feet in the same spots, exactly the same sit to stand. You're absolutely welcome to do so. Remember, this is your class, so I want you to choose a level that works for you, right? So you want to work on whatever it is that your level is at the moment. Nicely done. Keep your weight over your base of support at all times. Take your time with this. Don't rush through it, and try not to use your arms to pull yourself up. You want to use your legs. Get comfortable with transferring your weight over your base of support, because this is how you're going to stay balanced in everyday life, by being able to keep your weight over your base of support as you're moving in different directions, being able to control your body weight and where it goes. Nicely done. How are we doing? Let's do 3 more wherever you are. Do 3 more Situ Stands, whether you're doing the single leg bias version or you're doing both legs on the floor. Whatever you're doing, let's just do 3 more in your own time. Don't rush, in your own time. Really focus on getting your weight over your base of support at all times. Do not let yourself fall back into the chair. Don't let yourself use momentum to swing up out of the chair. And when you've done your 3, you're going to stay standing. Okay. So I'm moving my chair out of the way, but remember, during the class, you're more than welcome to hold on to something for support. You can hold on to a chair, a table, a wall, whatever you've got at home, you're welcome to use. But I'm moving the chair out of the way so you can see me, because otherwise I think it might get a bit confusing. Okay, I'm standing sideways to you, but you're welcome to face me, okay? I'm gonna stand sideways because I want you to see my legs. So we're gonna start with our forwards and backwards step exercise. So last time we went like this, forward, that same leg going back. Do you remember this? So we keep one leg stationary, one leg moving forward and back. You might remember that. Yes, forward, back. So the point of this exercise here, the forward and backward stepping, is to get you used to transferring your weight, your center of gravity on top of your base of support. So remember what we talked about doing our Situ Stand from the chair is we're trying to keep our center of gravity over your base of support. That's how you stay balanced. The ability to keep your center of gravity over your base of support as you're moving. So you're going to really practice stepping on that leg, big push, stepping back on that leg, big push. And then one of the legs, so in this case, my right leg, this one here, stays stationary. This is the moving leg. This is the stationary leg. And I'm kind of rocking on that stationary leg, if that makes sense. I'm rocking on it. And you want to try to do this slow. So I don't want to see anyone fall like this. We want to go nice and slow. Nice soft landing with your feet. So you're getting used to bringing your weight forward over your base of support and then bringing your weight back over your base of support. Now, today, we're going to add some arms to this because we've done this for a couple weeks. We're going to add some arms. So as we're doing this today, we're going to reach the opposite arm to the leg. So the leg that's moving, opposite arm to the leg like this. So if my left leg is forward, my right arm is forward, and my other arm is sticking behind me, and I'm stretching out those fingertips. And then I'm stepping back. You can see I'm using opposite arm to leg. Step forward, step back. And of course, the further you step with the legs, the more difficult it's going to be. And you'll notice that we're not putting the foot down in the middle, right? We're going straight forward to straight back. And then again, straight forward. So this is what I want you to aim for. But if your balance is not great here and you want to put your foot down in the middle, that's okay too. You can put your foot down and then step back after you caught your balance. Same thing, you can put your foot down and then step forward once you've caught your balance. It's entirely up to you, but I do want you to add the arms today, thinking opposite arm to leg, okay? So whether you're skipping that middle stance position and going straight back or not, it's up to you. And you are, of course, welcome to add in your tissue boxes if you think that's going to be helpful. You are welcome to, actually, let me do this. Yeah, you can use 2. You're welcome to add in your tissue boxes if you like, which makes it a little more challenging because you got a physical target that you got to step over. But of course, you're welcome to use one as well. You step forward and backwards over that tissue box. It's entirely up to you. But if you are using the tissue box, it does mean that you can't really touch your foot down in the middle because otherwise you'll crush that box. So we're still doing the same side, right? We haven't switched sides yet. You're practicing this transferring of weight forward and back, this rocking motion of moving your weight forward over your supporting leg and then moving your weight back over that supporting leg. We're rocking on this stationary leg, but we're practicing shifting our weight forward, shifting our weight back. So all the movement we're doing in this class, we're choosing to do. We're not getting pulled sideways or down or wherever by gravity or momentum. We're using our muscles. We're choosing to move forward and then back. We're choosing to move forward and back. We're not falling in any direction. So really work on this nice and slow and controlled, using your body weight. You're shifting your body weight forward to step on that leg, shifting your weight back to step on that leg. Let's do 2 more here. Wherever you are, we'll do 2 more and then we'll switch legs. If anything feels too challenging, don't worry, it's okay. You can keep working on it, and these exercises, you will see them come back every week, and we'll just kind of progress and tweak them a bit week by week to make them a little bit more challenging every week. But you are welcome to have a look at the YouTube video recordings if you would like to practice anything from the previous weeks or from today's class. Okay, I think I've done more than 2 there. I got lost in my chatting. Okay, same to the other side, forward and back. So hopefully you switch legs, forward and back. Let me turn sideways. I'll turn the other way so you can see my moving leg. So just like before, your arms are still moving with you, right? Your arms are moving with you in the opposite direction. The arms switch. Big lift. You're transferring your weight forward over that supporting leg. Lift, transfer your weight back over that supporting leg. We're not falling in any direction, but we're choosing to move our body forward, and we're choosing to move our body back. And of course, just like before, you're welcome to touch your foot down in the middle before you step. You can touch your foot down in the middle before you step if you like, or you can go straight through and skip the middle. It's up to you, but I want you to do this slow and balance on your legs as you're doing this. Your stationary leg, you're pivoting, you're rocking on that foot. And just like before, you are welcome to use a tissue box if you would like. If you would like a physical target to be able to step over and to clear your leg over, you are welcome to do so. You don't have to, but you're welcome to use that tissue box here. Keep going. If you find that you're using the tissue box and you're stepping on the tissue box a lot, then it's a good thing you're using the tissue box, because it means that we're not quite clearing our feet off of the floor high enough to get over that height of the box, or you're not stepping out of your base of support forward or backwards consistently enough to actually clear that tissue box. So just because you're stepping on the tissue box doesn't mean you should take it away to make the exercise easier. I want to encourage you to use that box if it's challenging for you. Nicely done. Make sure your arms are still in opposite directions. Opposite arm to leg, spread those fingers out nice and wide. Nicely done. Let's do 2 more on this side. Wherever you are, let's do 2 more on this side, and then we will move on to our next exercise. In your own time, 2 more. Good, nicely done. Okay, when you're done with your 2, you're grabbing your 2 tissue boxes and you're placing them down on either side of your feet, like so. The closer they are, the easier the exercise will be. The further away they are, the more challenging. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're standing in between the 2 tissue boxes. Your hands are going to be on your thighs like so. we're going to lift our leg and we're going to step out to the side and circle our arms out, which looks like this. Circling our arms out, stepping to the side, tapping the side of your thigh again with your arms. And then you're going to take that same leg, big lift, come back in. So every time you move your arms are straight and you're tapping the side of your leg, tapping the front of your leg. Same to the other side, big lift, step out, tap the side of your legs, big lift, tap the front of your legs. Okay, so we're stepping out, circle, stepping in, circle. So when you go out, your arms are circling out. When you come in, the arms are circling in. Okay, stepping out and stepping in. Stepping out, stepping in, like that. Nicely done. Keep up the good work. Big lift of the feet over the tissue box. So don't step on the box. You want to bring your legs all the way out and come back in. And what I also don't want to see is this, right? We're not just tapping the foot out to the side, but we physically want to step on the foot. So you want to physically step on the foot, step on the foot. So you're transferring your weight from side to side. Keep the elbows straight if you can. Circle the arms. I know my arms are a little cut off there. Maybe let me move back. Circle out to the side. Circle in. Tap your thighs every time, so that way you have a target. Big step in. Remember to step on the foot. Step on the foot. We're not just tapping like this. We're stepping on the foot, stepping on the foot. Almost like you're stomping the floor with every step. Big lift. Lift those knees high. Nicely done. Stand nice and tall if you can. Keep that chest up. Try not to get too low here. Stand up tall. Nicely done. Let's do 4 more here in your own time. Let's do 4 more. Really work on transferring your weight over your base of support. So remember, we talked about you're transferring your weight at all times. Nicely done. Okay, when you've done your 4, you can take those tissue boxes and put them away. And I'm gonna get you to grab your pillow or your cushion, whatever you're using. I'm gonna stand sideways again so you can see me, but you're welcome to face me here. Okay, so we're gonna practice our backwards stepping. So what we're gonna do today here, let me move forward. We are going to step backwards or lunge backwards, depending on what you feel comfortable with. We're going to step or lunge backwards. So if you're lunging, you're thinking about the back knee almost coming towards the floor. And then you're gonna take the cushion and you're gonna pass it under your front thigh and you're gonna stand up again. Same to the other side. Stepping back, lunge, pass it under the thigh, stand back up. If you can't lunge, that's okay. You can step back. Step back as far as you can, pass it under the thigh, the front thigh, come back in. Same to the other side. Step back as far as you can, pass it under the thigh. Of course, you're welcome to hold on to something. If you need to hold on, what you can do is step back and then see if you can take the cushion and tap your leg, come back up, switch hands. You're holding on to something. Step back, tap the cushion under the leg, and come back up. Okay, so it's up to you what you would like to do, whether you're lunging to pass the cushion or you're stepping to pass the cushion. But if you are stepping, I don't want to see anyone do this. This is too small a step. There won't be enough room to get the cushion underneath. So use the cushion as a target. Step back far enough that you can actually get the cushion under your thigh. And just like we talked about before, you're moving your foot back and your base of support, your feet, they're moving back, and hence your center of gravity also has to move back to stay in the middle of your base of support, if that makes sense. So you're moving your body back, so it's going to be in the middle of your base of support. So we're not just going good, falling back, and we're not just tapping back. We're physically stepping on the leg, keeping our weight in the middle of the base of support. Then I'm moving my chest back to keep them in between my base of support again. So always think about moving your center of gravity to the middle of your base of support to stay balanced. Okay, so if I step back, my weight's in the middle of my base of support meaning my feet. When I come forward, my weight is in the middle of my base of support. Okay, keep going. Too much talking on my part, I think, distracting you. Keep going, whether you're lunging or stepping, you're passing that cushion underneath your front thigh or tapping it under your front thigh if you're holding on. But I really want you to practice this backwards motion and keeping your balance. Remember, if you don't want to lunge, that's okay. Step back, but keep your weight in the middle of your base of support. Same thing. The cushion kind of makes it so you have to step back far enough. Otherwise, you can't pass it underneath the thigh. So remember, if your feet are too close together, if you're like this, you're not going to be able to pass that cushion under. So don't let your feet just do this, okay? Step back far enough that you can get that cushion under your thigh. And really practice when you step back. We're not falling back. We're keeping our weight in the middle of our base of support, keeping our weight in the middle of our base of support at all times. Okay, keep going. Nicely done, everybody. Remember, we're not rushing through this. Take your time, nice and controlled. Every movement you do should be a choice and not because you're falling and you're stepping to catch your balance, okay? Really try to maintain your control. Let's do 4 more. Wherever you are, do 4 more in your own time. Whichever version you're doing 4 more in your own time. Nicely done, everybody. Good. Once you've done 4, you can put your cushion away. Okay. And we're going to grab our chairs. We're going to put it in front of us. So now this portion of the class, we're going to be practicing our floor kneel exercise. So last time we talked about how part of falls training is to learn how to get up from the floor as well after you've fallen. Only if you're not injured. If you're injured, of course, you don't want to be trying this to get up, but this is a way for you to build some confidence around your balance and your walking if you know that you are able to get yourself up from the ground if needed. So we're using a chair or a table, but it has to be something you can physically grab onto, okay? So a wall is not going to be sufficient because you're probably going to slide your hands down the wall. So something you're grabbing. Last time we did a double knee. So last time we did this, we stepped back, put one knee onto the floor, then we put the second knee onto the floor, then we stood back up again. Do you remember this? That's what we did last time. So we're going to add on a little bit with this. We're going to today do a double knee like this, both knees onto the floor. Then we're going to put both hands onto the floor. So you're on all fours. And then we're going to get back up, hands up, onto the chair, legs up. So you're doing a reverse of exactly how you got down to the floor. So we're getting down to the floor with knee, knee, hand, hand. And so to get back up, we do the exact same thing in reverse. Hand, hand, knee, knee. Okay, so that's what we're going to be practicing today. Now, if you're having issues with this and you can't do the full version, that's okay. You're welcome to stay with just a double knee and come back up if you like, or If that's too difficult, you're welcome to do a single knee and come back up, a single knee and come back up. And if you can't touch the knee to the floor because of knee pain or something else, you're welcome to take a cushion for under your knee when you go down, or you cannot touch the knee at all. Just step back as far as you can and try to hover that knee as close to the ground as you can. So it's up to you, but I do want you to practice this getting towards the floor. So you can hover that knee off the floor if you like, or you can put it fully on the floor. But the full version we're doing today is knee, knee, hand, hand, and then we reverse that. Hand, hand, knee, knee, okay? So getting up from the floor is what we call backwards chaining, which is pretty much just the reverse of how you would get down to the floor, and that's how you get back up. So we'll keep building on this in the next 2 weeks of our class, but for now, that's what we're doing. We're doing knee, knee, hand, hand. So hopefully you've joined me already. Now, this exercise is really not about speed at all, okay? It's about control. You're doing it slowly with control. So hopefully nobody's knees are crashing into the floor. You're not hurting yourself here. Take your time getting down to the floor. And this is what I mean about having something to grip is a lot better than if you were to just hold on to, say, a wall and your hands slide down the wall. So I don't want you to then crash your knees into the floor. So just be careful here. Hopefully you've joined me. Take your time. This is not a race. I want you to be safe here. When you're standing back up, you're pushing through the foot, pushing through the hand to help you get back up. Remember, you're keeping your center of gravity over your base of support at all times. I'm keeping my center of gravity over my base of support in the middle of them, right? And then now my base of support is going forward because now my hands and my knees are all the base of support and my weight is in the middle of them. And then when I come back up, I'm shifting my center of gravity over my base of support, shifting my center of gravity over my base of support, shifting my weight over my base of support to stand up. So at all times, you're keeping your center of gravity over your base of support. So you're controlling your movement and you're not crashing down. Nicely done. Remember, if your knees are hurting, you're welcome to use a cushion. You're welcome to use a cushion. Make sure the cushion is behind you though, not in front, because you're stepping back behind the cushion to then bring the knees down, right? If the cushion is in front of you, you're not going to be reaching the cushion with your knees at all. The cushion should be behind you if you're using one. And if getting down to the floor is really difficult and you're just thinking, my gosh, my knees are hitting the chair and I'm just not able to get any room to get down to the floor, it probably means you need to step back more. So if you have a look at me, if I take only a small step back like this, and then I try to bend my knees, I'm gonna get stuck. I'm not gonna have anywhere to go. So if you bring the leg back even further, you're then gonna have room to go. Whereas if your foot is like this, as soon as you bend your knees, you get stuck with your knees touching each other, with your knees hitting the chair. You need to step back in order to have a room to actually get your knee down. How are we doing with this one? Hopefully good. Let's do 2 more. Wherever you are, do 2 more in your own time. No crashing into the floor, remember. Take your time with this. And when you're finished with that one, we're going to stand in front of our chair and we're going to practice our stand to sit. So our slow sitting down into the chair, bending those knees, sticking the bottom back, chest forward. Take your time. Keep your weight over your base of support and you're going to sit down. And we're going to practice our Situ Stands again. We're going to do 3. So 3 in your own time, practicing shifting your weight over your base of support. Then you're standing back up and then keeping your weight over your base of support to sit down. And as you're doing these 3 repetitions here, I want you to feel whether it feels a little easier maybe than when we first started today. Does this weight shifting feel a little more comfortable now? Are you getting a little more control after doing all those exercises? Hopefully, yes. If not, that's okay too. We'll keep working on it, but I'm trying to get you to be comfortable, to move your weight, to shift your weight over your base of support as you're moving in all sorts of positions, because that's what's going to keep you balanced in your daily life and prevent falls. Nicely done. When you've done your 3, I want you to stay seated. And we're going to do a bit of a stretch. We're going to shuffle forward in the chair. I want you to separate those legs nice and wide, hands onto your inner thighs, chest nice and straight. We're going to hinge forward at the hips to feel a stretch on the inner thigh. So from the side, this is what it looks like. You're separating the legs like this, putting your hands onto your knees, and you're leaning forward, hinge forward at the hips, chest forward, and you're leaning forward to feel a stretch on the inner thigh. And you're holding that for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, coming back up. 1 leg forward, 1 leg back. We're sitting on the edge of our chair because if you're too far back like this, you're not going to be able to reach the floor and straighten that leg. So shuffle forward in the chair, have that foot on the floor, the knee is straight, sitting tall again. We're hinging forward at the hips and you're reaching your hands down to your knee, your shin, your foot, whatever you can reach. But you're keeping your back straight, hinging forward at the hips, and you should feel a stretch under that inner thigh, under that thigh of the straightened leg. Nicely done. Coming back up, let's do the same on the other side. Straighten the leg, nice and tall, hinge forward at the hips. Nicely done, everybody. Coming back up, I'm going to face you again. We're going to do a thigh stretch. We're doing it in seated. So we're going to turn ourselves over onto a diagonal. And in the front knee, you're going to slide that foot back, drop that knee, pointing it towards the floor. It's not touching the floor, but it's pointing towards the floor. And then you're going to lean back in your chair. And you should feel, as you lean back, a stretch in that hip flexor, in that front of the hip, and into the thigh as well. The further back your leg is, the more into the thigh you'll feel. And you'll hold the stretch for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back up. And we're going to turn ourselves over to the other diagonal like this. Okay, and then you're going to slide that foot back, point that front knee towards the floor, lean back into the seat again. Feel that stretch through the front of the thigh. And we're going to come back up, come back to the middle, sitting nice and tall still. We're going to float those arms up into a T shape, and we're going to arch down to the side. So remember, we did this at the beginning. We're not just doing this with the arms. We're keeping our arms in the T shape, and the entire body is tipping to the side. So technically, my arms are still in a T shape, but my body is the one that's tipping down to the side, shoulder to the hip. Reach those arms. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming back up. Drop the arms. Let's float them up again. Same to the other side. We're tipping down towards the side into this T shape. Remember, not just the arms, but the entire body. keeping the chest facing forward, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming up, drop the arms, hand to the opposite knee, the other hand wrapping around the back of the chair, holding onto the chair. I want you to lengthen your spine and twist yourself around. So you're sitting up nice and tall, twisting on the spot like a corkscrew to look at the back corner of the room, holding it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back to the front. Same to the other side. Take your hand, hold on to the opposite knee, other hand wrapping around the chair, sitting nice and tall, rotating on the spot, rotating back, holding it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and coming forward again. Stay where you are. I'm going to turn sideways. We're going to do our back stretch in the chair. So we're shuffling back in the chair and we're leaning into the chair and we're slouching. The only time we're allowed to slouch in our chairs. And we're going to bring the hands up behind the head and you're opening those elbows to the side. From here, you're going to arch back over the chair, being careful that you're not flipping the chair. So just be careful, but we're leaning back into the chair. And we're holding the stretch, and you should feel it in your upper back and your chest for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming back up, drop the arms. One more. Hands behind the head. Open those elbows to the side. Arching back over the chair, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming back up, use your tummy muscles, sit up in the chair, and you are done. Thank you, everybody. You've just completed week 3 of our balance exercise series. After today, we've got 2 more sessions left. I hope that was helpful for everybody. I'm just going to go on to our YouTube channel now, and I'm going to find the link. I'm just finding the link here for the YouTube channel, so that way you can have that. Perfect, there you go. I just typed it into the chat box. You are welcome to save that link, and that's our Parkinson Society BC YouTube link, which means that you can go onto that link to watch the videos of the recordings from the class, and you'll probably also see our other educational webinar recordings are on there, our previous exercise classes on there, our future exercise classes will be on there. So that's a really good link to bookmark in your computer or your tablets if you are someone who would like to look at these videos at a later date. Okay, so don't forget for those who are signing up for the Rock Steady Boxing class, Wednesdays, tomorrow is the class. In June, we have the hand and dexterity exercise class coming up. So if you're someone who wants to work on hand dexterity or handwriting, that is the class for you. And we have other classes that are going to come up in the summer. So please feel free to have a look onto our website. Remember, the balance series that you've just done is a class targeting those who are frequent fallers. So this class is not necessarily meant to be a cardio heavy class or high intensity, high impact class. It's more to help you develop strategies and how to move your bodies to try to be as safe as possible. Okay, well, thank you everybody for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Please feel free to let me know if you have any questions about the class. Thank you everybody for your messages. I can see them in the chat box. I'm glad to hear that the class is helpful. Okay, thank you everybody. I will see you next week. Thanks, bye. Have a great week.